How much pain is supposed to happen during physical therapy after shoulder surgery? Some discomfort during therapy can be expected. But pain that keeps building, reduces your function, or leaves the shoulder progressively worse deserves a different response. The challenge is that those two situations can feel very similar in the moment. You may feel a sharp stretch during an exercise. The shoulder may ache later that evening. You may wake up the next morning more sore than you expected. And almost immediately the questions begin. Did therapy push me too hard? Should I stop the exercises? Did I damage the repair? Should I call my therapist? Or should I simply push through it? The mistake is trying to answer all of those questions based only on how much the exercise hurt. Pain during recovery is not automatically normal. It is also not automatically harmful. The more useful question is, how did the shoulder respond afterward? I'm Dr. Dan, an orthopedic surgeon who has helped thousands of people through shoulder surgery. My job here is simple: cut through the noise so your recovery makes sense. After surgery, healing tissue has to be protected while the shoulder gradually begins moving again. The joint may be stiff, the muscles may be weak, and controlled exercises may create soreness when the shoulder is asked to tolerate movements it has not performed for several weeks. None of that automatically means damage is occurring, but it would be equally unhelpful to assume that every painful therapy session should be ignored because pain is simply part of recovery. The goal is not to fear every uncomfortable sensation. The goal is not to prove how much pain you can tolerate. The goal is to recognize the pattern. When your shoulder feels different after therapy, I want you to ask 4 questions. First, is the discomfort beginning to settle, or is it continuing to build? Second, has your function changed? Third, is this one difficult day, or is it part of a larger trend? And fourth, do you have enough information, or is it time to contact your healthcare team? Let's take those one at a time. The first question is whether the discomfort is beginning to settle or continuing to build. Imagine you finish therapy more sore than usual. The shoulder aches that evening. Sleep is more difficult. The next morning, it still feels stiff. That can be frustrating, especially when the previous week seemed to be going well. But as the day continues, the soreness begins to ease. By the following day, you are close to where you were before the therapy session. Your motion is similar. You can perform the same basic activities. The next session may still be uncomfortable, but the shoulder is not continuing to deteriorate. That pattern by itself is not especially surprising during recovery. The shoulder was challenged. It responded. Then it began returning toward baseline. Now consider a different pattern. You leave therapy sore, but instead of gradually settling, the pain continues building over the next 2 or 3 days. Activities that had been getting easier become more difficult. You are moving the arm less. Sleep becomes progressively worse. You notice that you cannot perform something you were able to do comfortably the week before. That is a different conversation. The important distinction is not that both situations involve pain. The distinction is what happened after the pain. Temporary increase in soreness that begins settling is different from symptoms that progressively worsen. That does not mean you should diagnose the cause yourself. It means the pattern gives you useful information about whether observation may be reasonable or whether the response deserves a conversation with your therapist or surgeon. The second question is whether your function changed. Pain intensity often gets most of the attention because it is immediate, but function may give you more useful information. Can you still perform the same activities you were doing before the difficult therapy session? Can you reach the same distance? Can you complete the same exercises within the restrictions you were given? Can you use the arm for the basic activities that were already becoming manageable? It is one thing for the shoulder to feel sore. It is another if you suddenly lose motion, develop substantial new weakness, or cannot do something you had already regained. A painful exercise may reflect stiffness, muscle fatigue, irritation, or the normal challenge of asking the shoulder to move farther. Pain alone does not identify the cause, but a meaningful loss of function changes the context. That is why I do not want patients to judge therapy only by asking, "Did that hurt?" A better question is, what could I do before this session, and what can I do now? If the shoulder is sore, but your function remains similar and the symptoms begin settling, the response may simply need observation. If pain is accompanied by a clear loss of function, the information becomes more important and should be communicated. The third question is whether this is one difficult day or part of a larger trend. Recovery after shoulder surgery rarely moves in a perfectly straight line. You may have several good days followed by a difficult therapy session. You may sleep well for a week and then have two rough nights. A new exercise may create more soreness than the exercises you were doing before. That does not automatically mean recovery has changed direction. The shoulder should be judged over days and weeks, not only over one afternoon. Ask yourself, is my overall range of motion gradually improving? Are ordinary activities becoming a little easier? Am I becoming more capable than I was 2 or 3 weeks ago? Does soreness generally return toward baseline after activity? Or is each session leaving me with less motion, less confidence, and less function? One difficult day does not erase several weeks of progress. At the same time, one good day does not mean the shoulder is ready to advance faster than the recovery plan allows. Both fear and overconfidence can distort decisions. Fear may cause you to stop moving the shoulder because every uncomfortable sensation feels dangerous. Overconfidence may cause you to increase activity simply because the shoulder felt good that morning. Neither reaction is based on the larger pattern. The goal is steady progress while respecting how healing tissue responds. That means noticing trends rather than reacting to every isolated sensation. The fourth question is whether you have enough information or whether it is time to contact your healthcare team. One of the biggest mistakes patients make is believing they must answer every recovery question alone. You do not. Your therapist needs to know if an exercise consistently leaves you significantly worse. Your surgeon's team should know if pain is escalating instead of settling, if function is clearly declining, or if you develop a major change in motion or strength. Contacting the team does not automatically mean something has failed. It does not automatically mean therapy has to stop. And it does not automatically mean you need imaging. Sometimes a short conversation leads to a simple adjustment. The exercise may need to be modified. The number of repetitions may need to change, the timing of an activity may need to be reconsidered, or the team may decide that the pattern deserves a closer examination. Good communication is not proof that recovery is going badly. It is part of recovering thoughtfully. Pain also changes confidence. One difficult session can make you guard the shoulder, avoid exercises that previously felt manageable, and question several weeks of progress. That reaction is understandable, but fear tends to focus on the hardest moment rather than what happens over the next day or two. The four questions create a pause between the symptom and the decision. That pause helps prevent the two common extremes, stopping too much because of fear or pushing through too much because pain is assumed to be harmless. So how much pain is supposed to happen during physical therapy after shoulder surgery? There is no single pain number that answers that question for every patient. Some discomfort can be expected when a stiff, weak, healing shoulder begins moving again. But discomfort should not be treated as the goal. And worsening pain should not be ignored simply because someone told you that therapy is supposed to hurt. Judge the response by what happens afterward. Does it begin settling? Does your function remain similar? Is your overall recovery still moving forward, or are you becoming progressively worse? That distinction is more useful than the painful moment by itself. If a therapy session leaves you sore, but the shoulder returns toward baseline and your function remains intact, observation may be reasonable. If pain continues building, function declines, or the overall direction clearly changes, contact your healthcare team. You do not have to make that decision perfectly. You only need to recognize when the pattern has changed enough to deserve more information. Most recovery does not happen while your surgeon or therapist is standing beside you. It happens later that evening, the next morning, and during the ordinary activities between appointments. That is where uncertainty appears. The better you become at observing patterns, the easier it becomes to have useful conversations and make thoughtful decisions. If today's discussion helped you think differently about therapy discomfort, watch 5 Truths About Your First 6 Weeks After Shoulder Surgery next. That video explains several early recovery experiences that often surprise patients and shows why understanding those expectations can make the first several weeks feel less confusing. The goal is not to eliminate every uncomfortable sensation. The goal is to understand how your shoulder responds and to react thoughtfully rather than fearfully. Do not judge therapy only by whether it hurt. Judge it by whether the discomfort settles, whether function changes, and whether your recovery is still moving forward. Thank you for watching. I will see you next week.